Hey, welcome everyone. As Christine said, I'm Andy Albee. We're going to be looking at the idea of amplify your class. And this is what is now the new teacher.desmos.com. So those of you that might have used Desmos in the past, they are taking that teacher.desmos.com uh, web address and connecting it into Amplify. So if you try to go back to it, you'll recognize you'll be right back in here anyway. How many of you here have used teacher.desmos.com? If you could throw it in the chat. And unfortunately, I can't see the chat, so I have to bounce back and forth a little bit. Okay, Krista. Yep, Katie. Dan, Danielle. Okay. So a nice thing is you can go to desmos.com and just play around in it and use it as a good demonstration, or you can go to now what's going to be Amplify and have pre-made activities. Your students could get in and access them, and you have the rights to be able to control how the students access them. And so if you've done that before in teacher.desmos.com, I'll show you the new system in Amplify. And it really is pretty much the same. It's a little bit different, but it's structurally the same. The king is dead. Long live the king. We are back into amplify.com. If you go to Amplify, it will give you the option to log in. If you have done teacher.desmos.com in the past and you go in and log in with the exact same login uh, references that you used before, you will see that like all of your stuff shows up. Anything that you've had before is still there, and you can come in and try new lessons and play around with it. I'll tell you as we go through this, I am not a perfect expert on this. I am just learning as we go too. But I found out that as I went through it, it's not that much different. So it's not difficult to navigate. You should be able to kind of follow along. So there's our login screen. For me, I log in with Google because my Google account was where I went in the first place. Um, if your district has a single sign-on, you notice in there it has login with district's single sign-on, that you can go through that. However, in Minnesota, the only one that I found, that doesn't mean this is the only one that is there, but the only one I found was in St. Cloud School District 742. So any of you that work in St. Cloud, hey, you got access to this thing because the district's already bought it for you. If your district doesn't have an account, doesn't hurt to ask. I know at least my district right now, we are dealing with a $18 million structural deficit, and we're looking at the next 3 to 5 years of going up to almost $50 million of structural deficit if we don't do something. So they're not super excited about buying new stuff. So, you can ask, but see what your district's willing to do. Even if your district does not have the account on it, you can still get in and use this program. Okay. Everything that you've created in teacher.desmos.com is still there. When you log into Amplify, on your left-hand side, as is shown in the slide deck, and we're going to go to Amplify here in a little bit so you can see what it looks like live. But you can see the Amplify, there's the home button, and then there's a stack, which is the activities, and then there's the ribbon with a star in it. That's my stuff. So anything that you've created in the past, you can go to my stuff and still find your old activities. Even more good news, hey, they got a PD library. So if you're like, I want to try to start to use this and I don't even know where to start, you can go in and access PD. The PD things that I got into were free. I don't know if they're going to keep them free, but at least this way, the beginnings of this, they're trying to get people in and using it, so they're not charging you for it. However, This is going to be a paid system. Um, teacher.desmos.com, student.desmos.com. Those were free supports built into Desmos, and anybody could get in, start using them, and go through them. Amplify is now going to have a paid contract for you to be able to do a curriculum through it. Um, Even if you do not pay for Amplify, there are free activities that you can still get in and access. So it's something of going in, trying to find what it is you want to do, see if it's free, and you can jump in and use it, even if you're not paying for it. If you're not sure whether you want to do this or not, there is a button on the website that says, "Hey, connect with a product expert." When I clicked it, this is what they sent me back. "Hey, thank you for your interest. Um, and we're going to get in touch with you." Then they gave us, "Hey, here's some free lessons and some activities. You can go to the try it banner and just try them out." And that's where I got the activity we're going to do today, is out of that free lessons and activities. Um, and know that you can go in there and try and kind of see what's floating around. In the email, when they sent it to us, sent it to me, they said, "Hey, here's some information about Amplify." They gave me that middle of the slide there. You can see Amplify Desmos Math Program Guide, which basically takes you through what the whole curriculum for their high school program is going to look like. And then down at the bottom, they had, "Hey, here's the prices." Oh my gosh. I opened that thing up. The sales brochure is 95 pages long. They did not try to cut down their typing. They were not worried about paper because they can get it all in PDF. They put everything into the program guide. So there's a lot of information in there, but it is highly organized. Like if you go through it, you can navigate your way through and understand what's going on. Some of the things that they brought up in headlines and in structures in the program guide is the idea of, how can I use this to make sure that it is accessible for all my students? They have taken the concepts of universal design for learning and tried to build them in to their lessons, so that you have lots of activities with low floor, high ceiling level materials in them. And you can differentiate pretty easily on it in how you can adjust for different students depending upon their abilities or their needs. They are tied in with uh, the CCSS, the Common Core state standards. Knowing that the college and career readiness standards were built out of the Common Core state standards. And they do note that their materials do focus on those college and career readiness standards as well. So everything that we're supposed to be doing in relationship to our standards is built into the program. So that's really beneficial and nice. This airplane's being built in the air. It's going. They have the pilots out. If you're looking for this high school program, you can buy into it. Um, they are going to have geometry, algebra 2, integrated 1, algebra. All of that stuff's going to be built into their system, and you can run their curriculum for the year. And notice that they are using beta pilots for this year, the 25-26 year. And then they're going to come out with print editions as well as online editions through Amplify coming up next year. So here's our prices. So the pilot options right now for geometry and algebra 2 are digital only pilots. So they don't have the print materials out yet. They have full commercial release next year. They started with units 1 and 2, which is some basic algebra, getting into the idea of variables and solving for variables, things like that. That's where our lesson's going to come from today. Units 3 and 4 are out, and units 5 and 6 literally just dropped a couple of days ago. And so you can go in and take a look through those units and go through the program guide. It'll tell you what the units are covering, to see if this is of any benefit. But, you know, for a student license for 1 year is $26.50 per student. That can start to get a little expensive, and we do understand that. But like I said, not all is lost. It's not like everything just went away and I have to pay for everything now. If you just go to desmos.com, not the teacher.desmos.com and not Amplify, the full Desmos calculator is absolutely still completely free. And it all still works exactly the same as it did before. You can also go in and log in. And again, if you type in the teacher.desmos.com, it'll take you right to Amplify. If you type in amplify.com, it'll take you right to Amplify. And then just log in exactly as you did before. Note that in Desmos and in the Amplify, they do have activities for the graphing calculator, but also the scientific calculator, four function, matrix calculators, the geometry tool. Desmos is okay in their geometry tool. I'm not gonna knock them because they're generally okay. I do personally prefer GeoGebra, as GeoGebra.com, and go to GeoGebra. I like their geometry tool just a little bit nicer. And they have 3D calculators, which of course we are not using on the GD test at all. So for the GD test, you're probably going to be using the graphing calculator and the geometry tool the most. So some Desmos activities are still there. They are still active. We're going to go ahead and try the hang on activity. And so, Christine, this is where you should be able to drop the link into the chat. This is from the standard 8.ee.7. That's in our CCRS standards. And this is understanding variables and solving one step or simple variable equations. Okay. Another really nice thing that you can do here is that you can link this through Google Classrooms. So if you have a Google Classroom, you can take and link your Google Classroom in and just assign it right in your Google Classroom for your students. Okay, give me just a minute. Okay. Oh, that took me to the student one. Hang on one second. I got to go to mine. Okay, there we go. So here's my content. Hang on. I just did the battery one with the students yesterday. They loved it. Okay, so let's pull this up. Let's see who's in. Okay, so when you're going to this, when you do the link, the code should be the 8XYPHX. Pull that up. Okay, so there's your link. You can go to that if you're going to join into the class for today. I'll leave that up for just another moment. Okay. So I see Krista, Donna, back to teacher. There it is. Come on, go to summary. Krista, Donna, Katie, Beth, Danielle, Michelle, Bruce, Martha. I see you all in there. Krista, looks like you've already done the warm up, but everybody should go to step 1, warm up. I've got 9 of you in there right now. I'm going to pace and just restrict to sections 1 and 2 for right now. So I'm not going to let anybody move past section 2. Okay, so great. There we go. Yeah, people in. Can you see my screen or are you seeing just your screens? For right now, let's have you be looking at your screens, not mine. So our warm up here says that hanger A is balanced and it has some squares and it has some circles on it. And they want you to take and click on the dots for the circles, the purple circles and the blue squares, and try to balance hanger B the same as hanger A. But hanger B has to look different. So you can't do the exact same balancing that they've done. Okay, I should be able to see Krista's thing. There's Krista's. So Krista, can you unmute for a moment and tell us what you did to get a balance on your activity?
Yes, sorry.
Okay, no problem.
What was the question again?
Can you tell us how you came up with the balance that you did on section 1?
Yeah, so I looked at both of those and I saw that 4 circles on the right was exactly half of everything that was on the right. And on the left, if I took half of what was on the left as well, that would be 1 circle and 1 square.
Okay. So if we just take exactly half, just like kind of like what we were doing before with Pam this morning, do the half on each one and just see if it matches up. Okay. So I see some people still are on hanger A. Danielle, how did you come up with yours? Can people see Danielle's if I click on this?
Honestly, I was just kind of clicking around, just seeing how it works.
Okay, but you have it balanced.
Now
right?
I do.
Yes. So yours looks a little bit different than we just saw a moment ago. I'm sorry, I forgot who we had on a moment ago. Yours looks a bit different. How did you do yours different?
Kind of process of elimination. I was just kind of clicking to see and trying different ones.
Try it. Did you try some of them and not have it balanced?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And so did you come up with kind of a strategy of how to balance it, or did you eventually just get to where you just said, hey, this is balanced, I'm good?
I was trying to strategize and then I was listening and looking at your screen, so I got a little distracted. So,
Okay. Okay.
I was like looking at what other students are doing type of thing.
Yeah. Hey, Bruce. I'll pull yours up there.
All right.
Okay. Yours looks really similar to what we saw from Krista, but it's slightly different. How is yours different from Krista's?
I just looked at the original and I took 2 circles away from each side because those were balanced out, and then I figured out the squares were equal to 3 circles.
Okay.
So for every square you put on one side, you need 3 circles on the other side. And then the circles balance out, so you can do any combination of those.
Yeah, so we're starting to see how they kind of balance through by knowing what the value of the square versus the circles are.
Right, because there's
But
two squares left and 6 circles, so they had to be worth three
Mhm.
circles to 1 square.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you. Um, when Krista did hers, she had 1 dot and a square on the left and 4 dots on the right. But Bruce had 4 dots on the left and 1 circle and 1 square on the right. Can we swap sides like that?
Sure.
Sure, right? And so
Like
that's
like an
one.
equal sign.
Oh, so now, okay, now we've got an equal sign. What are we meaning by equals?
Balanced
Okay,
or balance
so
your equation.
if equal is balanced, and now we're starting to bring in the concept of an equation within this structure that we're examining and showing. But when we're looking at that and starting to think our way through it, we recognize that if we just switch sides between the two sides, it'll still be equal.
Yes.
Good. Yeah. We get a lot of students, or at least I get a lot of students, where they might be a little bit beyond this and starting to solve equations, but all of a sudden the X ended up on the right hand side instead of on the left hand side. And now I'm really freaked out because the X is in the wrong place. Right.
Right.
And knowing that we can do that. I'm just looking through. Okay, Annie, on yours, you took all of the dots off of one side.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just messing around with it because similarly to the um, teacher who spoke previously, I noticed that the squares would have been worth three,
Okay.
3 each.
Okay. But you ended up with the 2 squares and the 6 dots.
Yeah, to
Yeah.
balance.
Yeah. So noting that in our system, in the first one, Krista took off 1 dot and 1 square by cutting it in half, and then cut the other side in half to get the 4. You cut all the dots off of one side and all the dots off the other side, so that we're left with just 2 squares, right? And
Yeah.
so we got that where we can start to talk about, well, wait a minute, what does it mean to do an operation to both sides of an equation, right? Um, who is 8xyphx? That's our code. I don't know which teacher that is or which participant that is, but you did 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 squares on one side, 5 squares on the other side, and 3 dots. Okay, whoever this is, could you come in and talk to us for a moment? Okay. A nice thing when we see something like this is to remind the students that you can do whatever you want to both sides of the balance, as long as you do it exactly the same on both sides of the balance, it'll stay balanced. And so sometimes things that we might be thinking, well, I have to subtract from this or I have to divide this. And one of the big ones I like to put into my students is there's never a have to. You don't have to anything. You can do whatever you want. Some of those, when you're doing it, may end up giving you a more simplified equation. Some may end up giving you a less simplified equation, but it is still completely acceptable and equal. Okay, let's go to slide 2. And I have 4 students that have done some in slide 2 and put up their reports. Katie, can you describe what you meant in your writing about, it's balanced in the warm up?
Yeah. So when looking at the warm up, there were 2 circles and 2 squares on one side, and there were 8 circles on the other side.
Okay.
And so to kind of determine like how much like one of the squares was worth, I started eliminating the circles. So there's 1 circle on one side and 1 circle on another. Those like balance each other out, and you can like cancel them. You can get rid of them. You could take them off the balance, and it wouldn't affect the equivalency.
I love that. I love the way that you stated that, because quite often our students have heard cancel. I can just cancel, right?
Yeah.
But as soon as we say, hey, I can cancel, which meant I removed them,
Yeah.
right? That starts to make it's not some special cancel formula or special weird thing that math does. It's like, no, I just took one off of the left and one off the right, and it still stayed balanced.
Yep.
Cool.
So I did that
Great.
with 2 circles on each side, and I'm left with 2 squares and 6 circles. So then I determined that, okay, well, if there's 2 squares and there's 6 circles, if I divide both by 2, I get 1 square on one side and 3 circles on the other. It's like if I make
Okay.
groups out of them.
Okay. So looking at it as a grouping structure and taking off
Yeah.
a group of things.
Yep.
Cool.
So then
Cool.
I was
Love.
left with the fact that 1 square was going to be equal to the weight of 3 circles, or the value of it.
Okay. Excellent. Excellent. I've opened up activity 2 on slide 3. So everybody can move to slide 3. And here is a new balance hanger. Okay. So based on this one, how much does the circle weigh? Okay. Great. We're getting lots and lots and lots of 20s. Martha, I don't think we've heard from you yet. How did you come up with 20?
I removed let me just look back at it. I removed, oh wait, hold on. So I removed the 2 triangles from each side, and then I saw that there were 2 triangles per purple ball.
Okay. And if there's 2 triangles per purple ball, how did that become 20?
Because it said 10 on each triangle.
Okay, good. Yeah, so there's more information than just circles and triangles or squares now. Now they gave us a little bit more. They gave us that 10. Everybody went in and corrected theirs. Oh, I was trying to pull something up and I can't do it because everybody corrected it. There were about 4 students or 4 participants that put in an answer of 2. Can someone that put in an answer of 2 first come on and talk for a moment? Because I love the fact, okay, whoever did that, I didn't catch who did it first before you corrected it. But if we asked, like, what is the value of one of the circles? You say, well, it's 2 of the triangles, right? And that's absolutely a perfectly correct solution. Krista put hers here. I can pull hers up. Oh, didn't it show your drawing? It's showing your drawing when I looked at it on my side. That's weird. There's the snapshot. Let's pull that one up. So this is a nice one because Krista, you went through and did some drawing. How did you get the drawings? How'd you get those gray lines?
There's a little pen tool up at the
Yeah.
top of the little box. So I clicked
Right.
it and then drew around on it.
So it's a nice one with the students if we're trying to get them to describe this and think their way through it, that they go, wait a minute, what is all these tools up here at the top of the screen? Right? I didn't highlight those and I didn't say, hey, look at the tools at the top of your screen. You kind of found them on your own and started to play with them. I do like the structure where I saw that you canceled the triangles, right? And then why did you do the circle of the 20 and the 10s?
I saw there was 2 circles that were we didn't know what they were, and
Mhm.
so I split the number of triangles that we had in half. So
Okay.
it was like 1 circle to every 2 triangles so that they both needed to represent the same amount.
And so when you did that, it would have shown that 1 circle was worth 2 triangles. And then when you put the 20 in as your answer, then it put the 20 on the circle, right? Did we notice that your circles didn't have numbers and then all of a sudden they did? So that's a nice one that we can start to get. Well, 1 circle is worth 2 triangles, but wait a minute, each triangle is worth 10 value, whatever that 10 value is. And then we can say, well, wait a minute, okay, the circle's got to be worth 20 then. So everybody go to spot 4. It says an equation for this. Oh, wait a minute. Now we got an equation. So we've taken the visual of the dots and triangles and made them into an equation. 2x plus 20 equals 60. So in your sheet, you should have a little spot for you to do a response. How do you know? How do you explain that 2x plus 20 equals 60? Okay, good. Annie, I see yours coming up. Okay, I don't know if you guys can see my teacher page because you're looking at your pages. But I can see as you guys are typing stuff in on my teacher page, so then I can pull up, hey, I want this student to talk. Kind of like Pam was saying, I have a few things that I want to make sure we make connections to. Okay, so Beth, you had when we replace the X with 20, we get a true statement,
Yes.
right? Okay, so did you solve the equation for 20 or did you recognize that this is the same thing as we had on the hangers previously in the previous problem?
I recognized it and I didn't see instructions to solve the equation. I just interpreted it as let's check a solution that's suggested.
Okay. And that's fantastic. Like, we love the fact that there weren't any instructions. Like, we didn't tell you, hey, you need to do this, you need to do that in order to solve it. You just said, hey, wait a minute, I recognize this from before, and I tried it out and it worked. Okay. There is nothing in any of the algebra structures that we teach and anything in our standards that talks about we have to teach people to take stuff off or subtract from both sides or divide both sides. If we can recognize, oh, wait a minute, it's just 20 because 2 times 20 is 40, which I saw that. Oh, that was Krista that wrote that. 2 20s is 40 and 40 plus 20 is 60, right? Okay, I'm just trying to see if there's another one that I want to highlight. Okay, so Bruce, you had out the cancel the 2 10s from each side, then each circle is 40 and divide 2 to get 1 circle. So what brought you to that position to think that's how I should figure out that this is correct?
I'm trying to simplify before I begin any math.
Okay.
And so I want to get rid of what's equal on both sides. And then I'm left with 2 circles is equal to 40. So 1 circle is equal to 20.
Right. So we can see, even without writing down, oh, I have to subtract 20 from both sides. You said, hey, wait a minute, I can get rid of 10 from each side and I can do it again. I can do that twice.
So you're
Right.
solving an equation, but you don't really know you're doing it. You're
Right.
going
And
through the
it's not,
steps of it, of subtracting 20 from each side and then dividing by 2 on each side, but you don't really know you're doing that.
right. And it's going to a point of getting the students to build the algorithm for how do we solve an algebraic equation without telling them how to do it.
Right.
Soon as we do that, it's theirs. They own it. And when they own it, then they'll like, oh, I can do that, because it wasn't that Andy or my teacher forced me to do it. I can figure that out. Okay, I opened up 5. Okay, so this one's a little bit different. We've got X's on both sides. And we're going to 315, so this might be the last one that we do. We'll see if we want to do another one here. Okay, so Krista and Katie, I see yours. Using the pen and canceling and circling. Okay, Bruce with the same process. Katie says 8, Krista says 8. Something else to note with this, if you're in and doing these problems like this with your students, there is a button to anonymize things. So if we want to have a situation where a student can put an answer in, but not have their name specifically called out, you can change it. Okay, so we have a little bit, I think, of disagreement here. We have a few 8s and a 6. How could we check? How could we check if it worked? So Martha, I'm seeing yours. Oh, and you found the highlighter. So there's not only a pen, there's a highlighter that you can use. Martha, can you describe what you did here?
Oh, took me a minute to find mute.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
I was just using a drawing tool to
Yep.
instead of like covering parts of my screen with my finger, I was like, oh, I can just do it and make it permanent. So I took away 2 triangles from each side, and then I was
Yep.
able to remove 2 balls from each side, which left 1 ball to 4 triangles. So that's 1 ball is 4 times 2.
Or 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. Remember that idea of multiplicative thinking versus additive thinking?
Mm-hmm.
And if a student's doing that additive, it's fine. They're okay. Okay. So as we're doing that, and I see some other people where they canceled off and things, we had to remove stuff from kind of both sides this time instead of just one. Why did we have to remove from both sides instead of just one in this case? Someone willing to come on and talk about that?
Sure, I can talk.
Okay.
Well, just that well, that you could visually, you could see it. I mean, in the equation, I could see that there were like terms that I
Okay.
could move from one side to the other. But in the drawing, it was right there.
So then as we go through that, we start to get the concept and the terminology of like terms, right?
Yeah.
You obviously have done this before. I mean, all of us have solved linear equations like this before. And we know that term like terms, but a student might not understand what that is. So as they start to see this of like, oh, I can take off 2 of the purple circles from one side and 2 of the purple circles on the other side. And you say, well, why can't you take off 2 purple circles and 2 triangles? Well, they're not the same things, right? I can only take off the same things from both sides. And that starts to get them into that concept of like terms. So we got about 3 minutes left before the end of our session. This is just a little picture of how this could work. This lesson goes through another, let's see, where were we? 5, goes through another 8 slides. And we start getting the idea of solving for x's if it has fractions, or solving for x's if we have fraction values or decimal values. So I forced everybody up to 13, and slide 13 gives us the this is the lesson. Like, and this is a one where you can, with your students, just say, hey, where are you standing? You know, your little bit of formative feedback. Did you understand the math? How did you feel about it? Again, we didn't do the whole lesson, but we would take a lot more time in class to go through the whole system. Okay. Thank you very much. I love that I'm not seeing any of the yellows or the sick blues. Oh man, those blues would, they're like, I'm really not happy. Everybody seems to be kind of up in the range and things are good. So there's an example of how you can use Amplify in your classroom. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing and come back over to here. And just kind of see that there's still activities you can do. There's still ways that you can have the students interact and bring up those highlights, just like Pam did this morning in her strings. There's certain ones I wanted to highlight and we got them, and that's great. And if for any reason there's something that we want to highlight and it didn't come up, then we can ask students, what do you think about this? And have them see if they can form that if they haven't gotten it yet. So are there any questions? Anything anybody would like to talk about? Okay. And this is, this is just one lesson. There's lots more lessons on there, and there are lots of free lessons that you can get in and play around with. So thank you, Beth. Thank you for coming.
I just want to remind everybody, I did drop the link, the direct link to the evaluation for Math Institute today. Do it while it's fresh. We read every single comment that you make in one committee or another. So it's also in your flyer. And when you complete your evaluation, then you will be able to download your CEU certificate.
Okay, so one thing Katie brought up, do you think they're going to take away the free access? I certainly hope not. And my belief is that they'll keep at least some of it free. The paid access, I think, is more along the lines of building the entire curriculum out of it instead of having individual lessons. So you can never tell what somebody's going to do.